30. The New Mexico Republican Party headquarters was vandalized by a masked hoodlum. 31 Cameron Chase McCall, a former intern for New Mexico's liberal Democrat Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, when Grisham was a member of Congress, was caught on video and arrested in relation to the incident. 32, 33, 34. Antifa punks attacked a journalist and vandalized a war memorial in Portland, leading to the arrests of 3 of the punks. 35. An unhinged TDS-afflicted leftist woman attacked a former NYPD detective, who was celebrating his 50th birthday, and punched him in the face and snatched his hat off at a bar in Nashville, Tennessee when she mistook the red hat the man was wearing, which commemorated the occasion, for a MAGA hat. 36, 37, 38. The punch delivered by the woman was hard enough to open a cut on the ex-cop's face before she cowardly fled the scene. A police report has since been filed against the assailant. Antifa criminals acted aggressively toward the public and childishly hurled projectiles and obscenities at police during an Antifa riot in Portland. 39. Unsavory anti-Trump leftist Patrick Bradley was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and 3 counts of simple assault after he slapped a 15-year-old Trump campaign volunteer across the face and assaulted 2 adults who tried to intervene at an incident in Windham, New Hampshire. 41 Bradley, who also identifies as a supporter of Antifa and has made online attacks on critics of Antifa and communism, as well as falsely comparing the Covington kids to Democrat opponents of the civil rights movement. 42 has a lengthy history of arrests for violence. 43 and drug possession. 44. Leftist LGBTQ activist Martina Martin, who has claimed to be non-binary, and another female attacked a college Republicans campaign display at University of California, Santa Cruz. 45 followed by Martin assaulting guest speaker Hayden Williams, who was manning the booth at that point, falsely accusing a Trump 2020 banner of being a symbol of white supremacy, while ignoring that Martin is herself white, screaming obscenities and then spitting on a Betsy Ross United States flag before the 2 women fled the scene in cowardly fashion and were pursued and filmed by UCSC College Republicans President Dylan Temple, who was subsequently doxxed on social media with false accusations of violently attacking clients at the UCSC campus Cause Queer Center, which Martin and her accomplice had fled into. 46 Martin subsequently took to her Twitter account, which has since been made private by Twitter to cover for her criminal behavior. 47. To belittle her victims and openly brag about her actions, which may earn her legal trouble, as Williams and Temple then announced that they intend to file charges with the police against her for assault and vandalism. Maine Democrat Senate candidate Bree Kidman, a woman who claims to be non-binary and has endorsed Bernie Sanders for president, unveiled a guillotine as the campaign logo for her U.S. Senate campaign. 48 When grilled about the use of a guillotine as campaign symbolism, Kidman, in a flimsy attempt to take the heat off herself, claimed that the guillotine was not meant to be taken literally, despite its notorious use as a method of execution by the left against its opponents during the French Revolution. Kidman was subsequently criticized on her Twitter account for what her critics called a poor-taste campaign stunt at best and a not-so-veiled threat of violence against opponents and critics at worst. 49. Brawl breaks out at Bernie Sanders rally over Black Guns Matter shirt. 50-51. Racist leftists assault black Trump supporter at Ohio University. 52 Libertarian activist Caitlin Bennett, her colleague Joel Patrick, the black Trump supporter, her fiancé, and their security guard were viciously mobbed by leftists and even some fake conservatives at the university, where she simply wanted to ask students fun trivia questions about President's Day. She asked one person one question, before students began calling her racist and harassing her. Bennett, who is a woman, and Patrick, who is African American, apparently possess immense privilege rather than minority status because they hold different opinions from the liberals on campus and don't act like victims. Besides noise pollution, cursing, and obscene gestures, many objects were thrown at her, primarily toilet paper, which she later claimed was wrapped around heavier objects that actually hurt her more than toilet paper could. Hot coffee was poured on her, she was violently shoved multiple times, and as they attempted to leave the premises, various liquids were thrown at their vehicle. OU campus police, acting in dereliction of their duty, stood by and did nothing, and one officer even claimed to Bennett that there was nothing he could do and that Bennett was blocking traffic. The toilet paper and chants about diapers stemmed from a conspiracy theory that Bennett defecated herself at a party. Even Hunter Avallone, a shill for corporate neoconservatism who attacked Bennett repeatedly in February 2020, 53, 54, 55, admits that this is untrue. Several conservatives condemned this incident on the day it occurred 56-57, but many liberals either implicitly or explicitly stated that Bennett and the other conservatives provoked the left-wing students and the incident. 58 40-minute footage of this incident was published by Liberty Hangout on YouTube. 59 Bennett discussed the incident the same day on Elijah Schaffer's Slightly Offensive podcast. 60. A racist black leftist was arrested for kidnapping and uttering death threats after kidnapping a Michigan woman and threatening to kill her if she did not watch all 9 hours of the miniseries Roots. 61. Far-left terrorists, acting in collusion with British Columbia First Nations hereditary chiefs and some supporters claiming to speak for their people, even though those chiefs do not have the support of the majority of their people or the elected councils of 21 BC First Nations, which voted in favor of the pipeline, illegally derail the Canadian railway system through criminal sabotage as part of coordinated illegal blockades designed to sabotage the Canadian economy. 62-63. Although the terrorists, who have taken credit for their crimes through the far-left website North Shore Counterinfo, claim to be acting to protect the environment by engaging in protests against a natural gas pipeline project in British Columbia, their sabotage actions, which resulted in train derailments and spillage of crude oil the trains had been carrying in Saskatchewan and Ontario, which led to environmental damage at the derailment sites, exposed the terrorists as hypocrites who do not practice what they preach regarding the environment. Nearly 1,000 employees of train companies CN Rail and Via Rail have been temporarily laid off as a result of the criminal actions of the saboteurs and blockaders. Indiana leftists Karen Perry Jones and Kaylin Smith were arrested on felony charges of intimidation and criminal recklessness for driving two twin brothers with Trump flags on their bikes off the road and driving through several yards while chasing after them in Hobart, Indiana. 64 Perry Jones and Smith were also charged with theft and criminal mischief for stealing one of the flags and threatening to assault the boys for calling 911, and Perry Jones also exposed himself as a racist in the video of the incident when he threatened to play the race card against the boys by lying about them to the police, claiming that he would tell the police that they used a racial slur against him even though they did not. After dropping the stolen flag and deliberately driving over it, Perry Jones and Smith then cowardly fled the scene after the boys called the police. Laura Keeley Herr, the mother of deceased Antifa thug Sean Keeley Herr, a violent anti-police career criminal who had used numerous online aliases to incite violent acts by fellow Antifa punks and other far-leftists dating back to his participation in the Occupy Wall Street movement as a junior high school student, supported vandalism and arson against public and private property and the killing of police officers, and had been arrested numerous times for assault at leftist riots before he was killed by a fellow leftist in October 2019. 65, attacked and assaulted a female Trump supporter, then falsely claimed, despite the video of the incident proving otherwise, that the other woman attacked her first. 66. Left-wing website Politico reported that police were repeatedly called on Bernie backers following late-night bullhorn protests at public officials' homes. 67-68. Two 20-year-old adult Central American migrants, at least one of whom is living in the U.S. illegally, were arrested in the Sanctuary County of Montgomery County, Maryland for allegedly raping two 11-year-old girls. Both were enrolled in public high school while trying to pass themselves off as teenagers. 69. Alleged comedian John Mulaney gave an opening Saturday Night Live monologue with a joke about assassinating President Donald Trump. 70. March 2020. Democrat Senate Leader Chuck Schumer threatened Justices Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. 71. Mexican restaurant owners Jorge and Betty Rivas, who are both legal immigrants and naturalized U.S. citizens, were harassed with fake bad reviews of their restaurant on Yelp and Google by spiteful leftists, as well as threatening phone calls by anonymous racist cowards, after attending a Trump rally in Phoenix, Arizona. 72 When President Trump heard about the incident, he tweeted in support of the Rivases and their restaurant, resulting in a spike in support for them from locals and out-of-towners.